Hey guys, I'm Denise.
I'm Lindsay, and we're born this gay.
Welcome. This is Born This Gay podcast. It's our channel where we like to talk about LGBT content. So.
Yeah, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of everything here and there.
Yeah, damn right. And so today, at the end of LGBT History Month, we're going to give you guys a little bit of LGBT history.
Hell yeah. You know, honestly, doing some of the research for this podcast, I was a little bit embarrassed how little I knew
of our
history. Yeah.
I feel
I was like, oh, wow.
Same.
So if you guys are in the same boat that we were, y'all stick around and we'll get you filled in.
Damn right. All right. So just a little bit of an update. So I'm glad we're doing this episode around this time because we have had a little bit of gay issues in the news lately.
Do tell.
So basically, LGBTQ History Month has been rejected in school, so they can't talk about it or anything.
All right.
Yeah. It was a big fight. Like apparently
Yeah.
in the news, it was a big fight. A whole bunch of people went to the, what are those things called? Whenever citizens can. But basically, when the citizens can come up and make comments to the board of directors.
I know what you're talking. Yeah,
yes.
The word is slipping.
Okay.
Yeah,
got you.
We're in the same
town
boat.
home. No, that's not right. Anyway, but yeah, everyone made their cases. It was very heartfelt, but we lost. So now in the Miami School District, you're not allowed to talk about any type of LGBTQ history, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
For the simple fact that and the argument on the other side was they don't want their kids that young. I think it was from first grade to third grade. Or no, from pre-K to third grade.
So early elementary school.
They don't want them focused on sexuality, which I can understand in a little. Like, okay, we don't want to preach sex ed, although to me, I think it's important.
We're gonna preach colonialism and slavery and all
To
these bad
me,
things. Yeah, I mean,
like the laws, there are gay laws that got passed that are part of our political science history that should be shared. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, like you said, I can understand that argument, but why is it that all these straight people out here think that we're out to get the kids?
I know, right?
Like that's our main agenda. We are coming for your children.
Not
what?
Accurate.
That's not true. I'm just out here living my best life.
Yeah,
that's literally
all I
it.
want.
Yeah.
To be treated like a human,
because that's what we are, right?
Yeah.
Yes, last time I checked.
But yeah, I mean, we had the Marriage Act passed. We've had so we're gonna go into the laws today, guys. But we've had a significant amount of bills passed, and we're okay talking about like women's rights bills. We're okay talking about Black History bills. For some reason, LGBT bills are not
right.
Yeah, there. So.
I mean, like if you're gonna teach kids about all the oppression that people faced throughout history, members of our community faced oppression as well. So why shouldn't they be educated on that?
I completely agree. And apparently, so this was passed in Miami School District, but unfortunately, they're going bigger. So we're trying to pass it, I believe, with Congress. Pretty sure it's either that or in the House. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's called the Don't Say Gay.
Don't say gay.
So
first we had don't ask, don't tell. Now we're just not even allowed to say it at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, to make it like a federal thing, which
is that's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sorry guys, if my kid is not allowed to hear about people like Harvey Milk or like fucking oh my god, I am blanking on the woman who created the song America the Beautiful.
Yes.
Damn it. No, it's not Florence. Although Florence too. Kathy Bates.
Is it Kathy Bates? That sounds familiar.
Kathy Lee Bates.
Yeah.
I think so.
America the Beautiful?
I think so.
Yeah.
God damn
it.
That
was written while she was on a cross-country trip with her wife or girlfriend. Her girl. Literally.
Her friend.
They just lived together, roommates. Really, really close friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was so inspired with the love of her life that she wrote a song that to this day we still sing.
Yeah, I honestly don't see the big deal. I mean, we mention every once in a while when you think about George Washington, Martha Washington gets, brought up, or like we mention the wives all the time or just the partners. they don't make a significant difference. So I don't see why this makes such a significant difference.
Huge difference. Yeah. Like just brush it on. They just brush it under the rug. Oh, you don't talk about it. Don't ask, don't tell, and don't say gay.
Yes, guys. So I'm glad that this LGBT history, I understand that we're posting at the end of it. LGBT History Month will actually be passed by the time this gets published. Yeah. However, this is also election year.
Ooh,
and it's election time. So I'm kind of glad we waited a little bit, because I don't care what side of the aisle you fall on. Doesn't matter. It's still, you need to vote.
Yeah.
Like, you need to go to get registered. I think your time to get registered is gone, though. Mm-hmm. But if not, if you are registered, early voting is right now. By the time this comes out, I think early voting will still be happening, or it'll be time for us to vote.
Vote.
Yeah, go vote, especially the LGBT community, please.
Please let our voices be heard.
We need equality. I don't see why that's such a hard ask.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're preaching to the choir over here.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, and then in other news, I'm sure you don't know who this person is, but Leslie Jordan.
I never watched any of his like movies or anything he was in, but I knew of him.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So Leslie Jordan, if you are over the age of 30, you probably know the show Will and Grace. And Will and Grace was awesome. Mm-hmm. Good show about a gay guy with his straight best friend, I guess would be the best way to put it. But yeah, it's about them too, their friendships, how they basically navigate dating, and there's obviously a decent amount of gay guys, characters in the series, and one of them who wasn't gay, he was gay. He was a closeted gay man. But he was very much, he never, no one could, if someone told him that he was gay or he might be flaming, he rejected it totally, even though he kept these rock hard men around all the time. Okay. But he was just this little bitty flame, and that was played by Leslie Jordan. So he's really good. He has this beautiful South Carolina accent that's just very slow and draw out. I love it. I love Leslie Jordan.
Okay, really I'll have to. Well, I mean, unfortunately, now that he's passed, maybe I'll have to go back and check out some of the stuff that he was in.
Will and Grace is hilarious.
Probably a little dated now at this point, but
yeah, but it's sitcom. You like half-hour comedies, right?
That's true. That's true. Something I could just sit down and watch and not really pay attention to, but yet still understand what's going on.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So it's a good amount of gay history, so I definitely recommend it. But yeah, he was killed in a car crash, I believe, this past week.
Goodness. So, yeah. Yeah, I was seeing all the posts about him passing, and it was, all over my social media, and I was like, he looks so familiar, but couldn't tell you what his name was, couldn't tell you what he was in, but it's sad to see a nice gay icon like that passing.
Yeah. I mean, he not only did Will and Grace, he also did some movies and other shows. I'm blanking on them right now. But he had just started his country music career. So he has a whole album and everything out. So yeah, guys, go follow him on Instagram, or just show some love if you were a big fan of his. I was. So it was great.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I guess
go ahead and hop into it then. Y'all, let's get our history lesson on. Don't worry, we're gonna be a little bit more entertaining than y'all's history teachers.
I hope.
Up in school. Yeah.
I'll give it to them though. They had a challenge.
Yeah, talk about a worse subject to teach to a whole bunch of kids.
Oh, you hated history too?
Hated it.
I hated history. Stand it.
Yeah, and then I got into high school and I was like, let me do the dual credits class. Get me some college credit in high school. I have never slept so hard in a class. I'm talking drool on the table. His voice was so monotone in these 45-minute long lectures.
Poor guy.
And that's when I realized, maybe college is not for me.
Aww.
Just all these lectures, I can't do it. I'm very much so hands-on, interactive. So I'm thinking maybe trade school, and that's why I like bartending so much. So
okay, yeah. If you do a course that you don't like in college, my best, especially if it's a core course. Now, if it's something hard as fuck, I don't recommend this. But something like history, or I don't know if you don't like speech. I didn't like speech very much. Or if you're not into what's the other one? English, things like that.
Yeah, essays and stuff.
Yeah. I highly recommend doing those courses over the summer in a a summer course or a mini-mester, because
Yeah.
then you just have to suffer for like 4 to 8 weeks, depending on how long yours is, and it makes it to where they only cover like the highlights.
Nice.
Yeah, little bit of a hack.
Okay,
yeah.
not like these whole 6-month long classes.
No, because the teacher is challenged. She's like, all right, so I have to teach you 16 weeks of
courses in 6 weeks.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so it's
okay, but I suppose like the coursework is just overbearing then in a little bit, because homework
not
and
bad.
essays and stuff doesn't get piled on.
No, because you got to realize it's basically the same amount of time. You're just in the class longer, so you get a lot of like your homework and your projects done. It's about the same amount of work outside of the class as you would, because you're in class
longer
for I think it was like a 3-hour, 4-hour class.
See, that's where I think I would rather have it like spread out over like 3-4 months.
Yeah, see, I'm totally different. I'd rather just give me 6 3-hour classes and I'm good to go, instead of being here 16 different days for like an hour and a half. I actually prefer the hour and a half courses to the 40-minute courses. I can't stand 40-minute courses because it feels like we just got into the subject.
I can't do hour and a half courses, because I'm like, after 40 minutes, I'm like, okay, we're still talking about this? Like, come on, wrap it up. We can do something else. Yeah, no. 2 very different people, Denise.
Okay.
Very much so. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. To each his own.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, well, that little side tangent there. Let's get back on course to history.
Yeah. So, guys, gay history. I mean, gay people have been around for a really long time.
We're not new. Guys, we can what is it? We read the first gay people, or I guess you could say, that were documented were dates all the way back to ancient Greece times.
Yeah. So it's rumored that Socrates was actually gay. He kept a lot of men around, things like that. So obviously everything that we're about to tell you is most likely not in your history books.
No, it's not. It's not going to be there. No.
Which sucks, because it's not as evident. There's not much evidence either of a lot of these things. It's just kind of a good amount of rumors or things that we can kind of guess on, because if you're someone who keeps the same sex partners around for a really long time and never has like a wife or anything.
I mean, some questions are going to be thrown your way, just a couple.
Yeah. So Socrates is a big. Do you know who Socrates is?
The name is familiar.
He's a philosopher. He's an ancient Greek philosopher. Yeah, and very big in I guess the science community. Because a lot of
that's
his
probably
theories
why I don't know exactly what he's done.
What subject did you like?
Recess.
As spoken by a jock.
Yeah. Athletics was a blast. I looked forward to that one. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so ancient Greece is back where we definitely have a decent amount of evidence that gay culture was there. It was fine. It was no big deal.
Yeah, and they weren't dissed. They weren't hated on. You just average people in the society. Like, it was so much average that there's not a whole bunch of documentation on it, because it was just like, oh yeah, there's 2 guys. Okay. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, this was also Alexander the Great was rumored to have, a very good partner, I guess, a same-sex partner for a really long time. So, yeah, I mean, it was just normal things. You had your wife, but you also had your boy toy.
Yeah. Your little boyfriend.
Best way to rumor it. But yeah, no big deal either way. But yeah, homophobia actually started in probably the Renaissance time, is what we were learning. Middle Ages, Renaissance time. If you watch Bros, you see a little sneak preview that Leonardo da Vinci, who was in the Renaissance time, may have been bisexual. I don't know how accurate that is.
Yeah,
but that was a fact that I liked.
We didn't look anything up on it after watching, but they did heavily reference that.
They did
in that movie,
which is crazy, guys. Because in the last episode, I referenced how I've done at least 5 different biography, different stages of my grades on Leonardo da Vinci. I've never once heard this, so
very much so brushed under the rug.
Oh yeah, had to be.
Yeah, I mean, he's someone who literally set up art as we see it today. You can't have him swing that way. No.
Oh, I mean, and it makes sense now that I think about it, because one of his biggest artworks is the Perfect Man.
Yeah, Perfect Man.
Yeah, where he has David, just completely
sprawled out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it. He loved art. He loved science. He experimented a lot. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, so homophobia started around that time. Unfortunately, when the church was apparent. But we still, us as gay people,
we fought back.
Hey,
Well, you don't get to oppress us like that. That's not right. We're just here to love and spread love. So.
That's right. So it was the first that we know of. It was August 31st, 1512. A group of young aristocrats living in Florence staged what some would consider the first gay rights demonstration.
Whoop whoop.
1512.
Yo, that's so long ago.
That was over 500 years ago.
That is so long ago.
That's insane.
That's crazy. But the fact that, for over 500 years, we've been, fighting the same fight, marching the same parades. And we're still just kind of twiddling our fingers. Waiting for things to change.
I was about to say, from 1512 to probably 400 years, probably 450 years, like that's when, that's homo oppression, like
for sure.
Crazy.
All right, so now we fast forward to colonial America. We set up the 13 colonies here. But homophobia was still just on a rampage. It was not allowed to be gay in the original 13 colonies.
Which is really interesting because I feel like the reason why we came over here was to like
be free.
Yeah, and to escape like religious
like separate the church and the state
a little
and everything,
bit,
fair taxes and all that stuff. Yeah, that's the whole reason we left, and here we are.
Or revolted, yeah.
If you're not the majority, then you're not allowed, is kind of what it seems like.
Yeah. And unfortunately, guys, that's how it stayed from 1700s basically all the way up until we hit about the 1960s, 70s ish.
I mean, y'all know about, we've all heard stories about the 1970s. I know.
Yes,
majority of
Stonewall.
Yeah, the majority of us watching, and us sitting here, we weren't alive during the 70s, but we hear tons of stories about those.
Oh, flower power and. That was also the disco age, I feel, or maybe a little bit before the disco age. I don't know.
The disco was the 60s, right?
No, because John Travolta was big on.
Okay, so 80s.
I want to say. We'll see. Maybe. That's a big tangent.
I'll ask Mom, comment down below when the disco era was, because I know you're a big fan of the disco music.
That's good. All right. Okay.
Yeah. I grew up listening to disco music because of my mom. Yeah, it was good.
It
was good. She had it on the CDs that you had to put into the car.
Okay. To me, those are normal things.
Yeah. Now we have the aux cord. We just plug it in and press play.
She literally said it like it was like an old school. Them CDs I used to have to.
Yeah, you actually. She had one of those big books and you had to like flip through it.
I have one of those big books. I literally just put one of those big books in my it's going to the car tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. All right, Denise, for Christmas, I'm going to get you a new radio for your car.
Oh, my God. Hey, my radio is fine, but I like my CDs. They don't require data. It doesn't need my phone to be charged. There's some good options with the CDs.
Until you scratch them, and then you got to in all your songs. Okay. So, there's ups and downs.
Fair. Yeah. That is fair.
Growing up, we had one of those CD cleaner kits. So you put on the screen and you...
Yes! Mine was like a crank.
Yeah. It just
go around the whole CD.
It was good.
God.
It's good. Yeah. So old stuff. Funny. Yes, old stuff.
Asshole. But yeah, 20th century is when we started seeing gay bars. They started popping up. We unfortunately they got raided a lot. But.
Yeah, it was very much so kind of like the Prohibition era. When alcohol was illegal, you still had the bars popping up underground, and those got raided. Same with gay bars; they're illegal, so.
Yeah, it was just nice that we were able to have a semi-safe space. Semi-safe. A place where we could all go as a community and, enjoy each other's company and not feel scared as shit.
Yeah.
But also...
feel not oppressed for just a couple hours. Yeah.
Everyone knows of Stonewall. It happened in 1969. And then shortly after, 1970 is when our Pride Parade started, the marches, the freedom marches.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you skipped over our fun fact about Stonewall.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So apparently, for those of you who enjoy old movies or Broadway, apparently the Stonewall happened the night of Judy Garland's funeral.
Yeah, we came across that, and I was like, the amount of times we talked about Stonewall, we never knew that.
And she's straight, but she's a gay icon.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
very
would
much so,
figure
yeah.
that would be kind of correlation.
Yeah, so exactly a year after Stonewall happened is when the first, we call them pride parades now, but when they first started, they were called gay freedom marches.
Yes.
And that one started on the year after anniversary date of Stonewall. And they popped up in I think it was like 4 or 5 cities across the United States. Like,
I want to say
San
so.
Francisco was one for sure. And then New York, obviously.
Yeah, New York, yeah, for sure.
And there's a couple of other really big states throughout the U.S. that participated in the 1970 gay freedom marches.
Yes, yeah. And now they're in just about every major city.
And even some small ones.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know. Like over here in DFW, Mansfield.
Did they really?
Mm-hmm. They had, it was either this year or last year where they had
See, I know, I grew up in Mansfield, so like I know
crazy.
Mansfield is like kind of a small town. Like, it's grown over the past few years for those who are not familiar with the DFW area in Texas. But I know they do a pickle parade every year. Because there's a pickle factory in Mansfield. That's what they're known for.
No
I guess.
way.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
My high school, I would get out of the car in the morning and walk through the parking lot smelling nothing but vinegar, because the pickle factory was right there.
Where is it at?
Downtown Mansfield. I don't know. I've never actually driven past the building. I could just smell it. Anywhere you go in downtown Mansfield, you smell vinegar.
That's interesting.
And I'm talking to someone who hates pickles.
She does.
My
hate
stomach
pickles.
would flip every single day getting out of my car going to school.
That's great.
Yeah, and some days were worse than others. But yeah, they do pickle parades every year. But now we're going to add a pride parade to that.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, Mansfield. Okay.
Yeah, Arlington for sure did one this
Yeah.
year, which I was very proud of because I've lived in Arlington all my life and I never knew that we had one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was good. So yeah, cities near you guys, go to a pride parade.
It's
fun.
honestly a quick Google search. Pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those, it started in 1970, and then we got them still today. We changed the name a little bit, but, and if anything now, back when they first started, they were more like gay freedom marches. They were very much so protest marches, we're speaking out for rights.
Yeah.
I'd say nowadays they're more just like really big block parties.
Yeah, that's true.
We have fun, too much fun,
Yeah.
honestly, at these pride parades, but well earned, in my opinion.
I agree. I don't know if you feel the same, but Pride for me started off as just a place where I knew I could go. That was a gay activity, and I was under the age of 21, so I couldn't go to a gay bar. So this was like the first gay activity that I was welcome to. That it was a safe space for me. So.
And you get a whole bunch of free stuff.
You do. Yeah, I got a lot of like rainbow stuff from my first Pride parade. That's true. Yeah, they throw out like bracelets and beads.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Mardi Gras. They're throwing out stuff as they go down, but it's all rainbow stuff.
Yes.
Pretty fun.
But yeah, okay, so yeah, 1970 is when that started, guys, and then 1973 was a big year for us in science, where the American Psychiatric Association replaced homosexuality with sexual orientation disturbance in the list of medical disorders. Now, I know that sounds like a bad thing. Yes. It kind of is.
A little bit. But that also meant that you could no longer be locked up in a mental hospital for who you loved.
That's true.
That's the main thing to take away from that, was what happened there.
Yeah, it became less of a severe degree. Like you still had to go to conversion camps and stuff and things like that, but you weren't. Homosexuality in itself was not labeled as a
disease.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Yeah.
A disease or a mental illness is what homosexuality was labeled as.
Yeah,
for the longest time. Now we're just a disturbance. We're just disturbing the peace over here.
It wasn't the correct choice, but it was progress.
Baby steps. Baby steps.
I can't even imagine. All right, so for you guys at home, can you imagine being considered? Which maybe by your families you might be, but just think about it right now in this day and age. Imagine being considered mentally ill for being gay.
I just have to laugh because, like, you can consider me mentally ill for a lot of things that I do.
Yeah.
But being gay is not one of those things that I would ever consider myself to be mentally ill for.
It brings me the most happiness, so I don't understand.
If anything alleviates some of my stress,
Thank you.
It's my girlfriend.
You.
So,
like, oh, that's so cringe.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, baby steps. It wasn't the best turnaround for that, but you know, we're still in the 1973 or 1970s. So like we're slowly picking up pace with our coming out of the shadows or coming out of the closet. Hey, why didn't I say that? That would have been so much better.
That's true.
Yeah. All right.
It's okay. That was a good little gay pun right there. But yeah, okay, so we've already made a decent amount of progress. So it started in the first, you know, we definitely know back in the 1500s, we had our first, you know, gay demonstration, and then a whole bunch of oppression until basically the late 1960s, early 1970s. So just in these like 3 or 4 or 5 years from the 1969 Stonewall riots to 73, where we're no longer considered a mental illness. I mean, that's progress.
It's progress. Awesome, yeah. Very, yeah. I mean, for
big.
about a 4-year period.
Yeah,
that is quite a big progress there.
All right.
So then we jump up to the 1980s.
Yes.
And the 1980s hit kind of hard, and that's mainly because that's when the AIDS epidemic broke out.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this until we did our research, but AIDS was originally called GRID, which stand for Gay-Related Immune Deficiency. Gay-related. Let's just say gay-related. You had to be gay in order to get this.
So yeah, we got just homosexuality in general taken off of the mental disease.
So now we're gonna throw it onto the physical.
Yeah,
disease
I know, right?
So we're just gonna switch it off.
You do have your own disease, and it's AIDS.
Yeah, it's AIDS, or GRID is what they first called it.
Yeah, and it was considered a gay disease. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that because it was a gay disease that the government didn't really act quickly enough whenever
it broke out.
Yeah, whenever.
I mean, hey, we could tie that back into the Jeffrey Dahmer story that's really popular right now too. There's, you know, the police didn't look that heavily into him because he was an openly gay man.
Do you think that they thought they could catch AIDS from him?
Well, the way that it was depicted in the show, did you get to that episode yet where they returned the kid to his apartment?
Yes.
And the way that they were walking around not wanting to touch anything, made jokes about having to go shower to like wash it off of them. Yeah, they thought that they would get AIDS being in that room.
Interesting.
But that's also how I think America was brainwashed in that sense. They thought just being around someone gay, like you just touching them, oh my gosh, you just like I have AIDS now. Like,
no, yeah, my mom used to make those jokes all the time. Like don't hang around that lesbian, you're gonna catch it. She used to make those jokes all the time.
Yeah, and it's just brainwash in my opinion.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so, you know, we see it in 2 different instances there where lives could have been saved if you weren't so homophobic.
Yeah, that's actually really sad. But, I mean, with yin and yang, right, guys? So whenever something really bad happens, you know, there's always some
good that
tiny
rises
something
up.
good, that rises. And with that being said, because the government didn't do much, we as a community rallied together, and that's how we started organizations. And the organizations that got started because of GRID or AIDS was the ACT UP organization, the GMHC, the Gay Men's Health Crisis, the Lesbian AIDS Project, and the Names Project.
Yeah. And actually the Names Project is kind of drew my eye a little bit, so I did a little more research on the side of that one. That one, as of the research I did earlier today, it's an organization set up to preserve a giant quilt, a handmade quilt with all these different names of people who passed away during the AIDS epidemic, just so, you know, they're not forgotten, their story lives on, and, you know, there were people too that lived. So I thought it was really cool because that's one of the oldest, or the biggest pieces of art that was made by a community in the world as of 2020. So just really, really awesome thing that I came across.
Yeah,
I thought I'd want to share with y'all.
Hey, the Names Project.
The Names Project. Don't forget their names.
Hey, I like it. Because to me, we should memorialize victims a little bit more than we do just as a society in all aspects.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I agree.
But anyway, okay. So yeah, so 1980s AIDS epidemic hit. We were hit pretty bad as a community. Fast forward a couple years, 1987. That's when we finally removed sexual orientation disturbance in the list of medical illnesses. So now, if you are gay, you are no longer mentally ill.
There's nothing wrong with you up here. Nothing
whatsoever. Thank God.
Yeah. So we have baby steps. What it took them. What, like over 10 years?
14 years.
Yeah, 14 years to get it off the list of mental illnesses in general. So, I mean, 14 years it seems like a long time, but you remember that whole, 300-year gap where we were just oppressed and it was just illegal. You could be killed for being gay.
Yeah.
14 years doesn't really seem like all too long in the whole hiding side of things.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you think about it right now, it's 2022 now, so it's literally been 35 years, I believe so, if I'm doing my math correctly. It's been 35 years that we have not been considered mentally insane, yeah, for being homosexual. Tangent. So, it just makes me think, you know how I'm a big fan of science. I believe in science. There's so many times where I'm just like, just listen to the science. But in this case, people were listening to
the science.
Like they were listening to experts who considered this as a mentally, ill disease.
Yeah.
So just, food for thought right there.
That's sort of I wonder, now with all the technology that we have where, they can go and take images of your brain and different parts of your brain that light up during different activities. I wonder, if you're gay, if different parts of your brain lights up.
I don't see why not.
And that would be the only thing that you could classify it as a mental illness. Because, with depression, you can see depression in your brain. Anxiety, you can see it in your brain. All these mental illnesses, they can take pictures of them of your brain, and they'll see these different parts of your brain lighting up or not lighting up, which is where a lot of these illnesses come from.
Have you ever seen Sense8?
Sense8?
Yeah.
That sounds so familiar.
Basically, the plot is 8 people can basically sense what each other's going on, and they can pop into each other's lives.
I don't know that one. No.
Oh.
But it's similar?
Well, there is a queer couple in it where it's a trans woman with she's in a lesbian relationship with another woman, right? And the mother finds a doctor that basically says that being trans is a mental disorder because you shouldn't think that you're in the wrong body that God gave you. And so he has basically a brain he wants to do a brain operation on her to kind of switch that think
just flip that switch back.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, yeah. The mother's all for it, right? So they decided they want to do a brain operation, so they hold her basically hostage, and there's this whole thing. But yeah, it's
that's
just
scary.
Yo,
that's scary.
Just food for thought, guys. I'm a big science person, but there are times where science has been wrong.
Yeah,
because I don't think I'm mentally ill for the fact that I like women.
Yeah, no. I mean, you grew up. One of the first things that I learned in science class growing up was that you're gonna make mistake after mistake, and that's the whole part of science, is that you try different things and then you just find the one that works.
True.
So a lot of science is wrong, but that's also how you get your right answers, is by finding the wrong ones first.
So. Yeah. But yeah, in 1987 we are no longer considered mentally ill for being homosexual. 5 years later is when we had our, speaking of, was a little segue, we had our first introduction of transgender rights.
Ooh, how exciting.
In the
That's
90s.
Crazy. Yeah.
The 90s, it took that long.
Yeah, so 1992, that's only been, 30
years? Yeah, 1992.
30 years?
Yeah, 30 years, yeah. And then 2 years after that is when we introduced the don't ask, don't tell policy.
And this is the one where we all just kind of shake our heads and just what was that?
All right. So it was a Clinton administration that passed the don't ask, don't tell. It wasn't the right choice. I'm not going to disagree with anyone who says it wasn't the right choice, but it was a better choice than what we had at the time. So he, in his own words, he said, it was better than
banning all gay people from the military.
Yeah, which is basically
which is what was going to happen,
Yeah.
in a sense. So, I mean, there's two sides to that argument. You know, I don't necessarily agree with it, but at the same time, it's the lesser of two evils. So,
And yeah, just for a brief overall of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, it's basically the policy where in the military, it was not allowed, you were not allowed to be homosexual. You're not allowed to be out and proud, anything. If you were out and proud of homosexual, if you were showing it in public or whatsoever, they had the right to kick you out of the military.
You could be a homosexual in the military at this time. You just had to act straight.
Yeah, you had protections, but it was a don't ask, don't tell policy. So you had to be in the closet publicly.
Heavily in the closet in all aspects of your life.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you can stay, which is depressing.
Yeah, right. That's very depressing.
We will protect you as long as you don't show us who you are.
Yeah. Okay.
Some smells there, but it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, then after that we had a kind of like more uplifting thing happen in 1997. Ellen appeared on the front cover of Time magazine.
Hey,
and she
Ellen.
came out. Yes. And like I mean, obviously I wasn't alive during that time, but I remember reading up on it as I got a little bit older. And like from what I could tell, that was a really one of the first celebrities to come out and make it like a really big thing. And she even started a chain reaction to where all these other celebrities felt a little bit more comfortable to come out and express themselves as well.
Yeah, increased LGBT appearances were definitely, I mean, it happened in the media. Basically, our representation increased a lot. And I don't know how accurate this is, but I'm pretty sure that the way she came out was on her show.
Yeah. I've seen the clip.
Okay.
Yeah. And she said something about like, yo, I'm gay or I'm lesbian. Yeah.
Yes, on her show. Guys, this was back in the time where there was no DVR. You didn't rewind things. No. If you had a favorite show,
you sat down 5 minutes before that show came on. You turned it on and then you didn't move until that show was over.
Like that was a part of your schedule.
Mm-hmm. You had to work that in. For me, it was Thursday nights, 8:00, Grey's Anatomy.
Hey,
you had to be on that couch.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was a time where, again, people were tuning in. This was something that the producers not only like knew was happening, because obviously it's a sitcom, so it's pre-recorded and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So everyone had to be on board gun-ho to let her do this. And they released it, and it was shown on television, which is crazy.
It was. Yeah. So. I mean, I just think, I know she faced a lot of struggles from it, but at the same time, just like all the good that came from it. That's really awesome.
Yeah. You know, the 90s were a big deal for us, I believe.
Yeah. And then it just kind of kept the ball rolling, because then we get into the 2000s. In 2003, Massachusetts became the first state to legalize gay marriage.
Fuck yes.
I had no idea. All right, Massachusetts. Like, you never hear anything about sorry if y'all are watching from Massachusetts. Nothing against you guys, but never heard anything about the state.
Really?
Never, nothing. It just snows a lot. That's all I hear. It's just cold. And you'll have some pretty heavy accents. But first state to legalize gay marriage. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, good shit, Massachusetts. You're one of my favorite states. Let's just throw that out there. You have Harvard, there's MIT, there's, Boston. I've always wanted to go to Boston.
Oh, Boston isn't. Okay, I've been to Boston.
You've been to Boston?
I have.
I've always wanted to go to Boston.
But I was like 12.
Oh,
so, yeah, I went for a softball camp.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, Cal Ripken. You familiar with? No, you didn't do sports. Never mind. No,
sorry.
As soon as I said, I was like, never mind, I'm talking to the wrong person about that.
No, not me. So, yeah, and then that brings us again a little bit more. 6 years later, after 2003, we hit 2009. Crimes against LGBT community is considered a hate crime.
Yeah, and that one, there's kind of like heavy feelings behind that, because there was heavy hate crime towards members of our community.
Definitely.
Up to this. And I think what sparked it was that young boy being killed, right?
Yeah, the boy that you're thinking about, I think, is Matthew Shepard. I could be wrong. Maybe. But basically, he was a college kid who was abducted, beaten, and tied to a fence. Is that what we?
That's what we read. Yeah.
Okay.
Just horrible crimes just for, you know, the people that he loved and just for being gay.
Yeah.
You know, and his parents were huge activists for his life living on after it was just taken away from him from short-lived. And they were actually a huge part in working with different working with different organizations and different projects to get this to be considered a hate crime.
Yeah, the 90s, I believe, is when he died. And the fact that it took them till 2009 to be considered under the Hate Crime Act.
I think we read something about the 10th anniversary of his death was when it was like all passed and everything that it was considered a hate crime.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know, there's, like we said, there's horrible things happen and there's little good that comes out of these really awful things. And that is one of the little good things that came out of this.
Yeah, because, man, being gay is already, you know, kind of, for those of you who live in a place where it's not okay, it already kind of heightens your hairs and, you know, the back of your neck, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I can't even imagine after hearing a story like that where he got beaten and tied to a fence because he was gay.
Yeah, abducted and beaten.
That would make me not want to walk outside.
No, not at all. Not at all. I would not have cut my hair off like this. Like, no.
Yeah. Getting away from the depressing facts. So fast forward another couple years, 2013. We're now getting into the ages of when Lindsay was a teenager, so we're kind of coming towards modern day.
I remember some of this stuff, guys. Like this one was exciting. Like I was alive for this.
But 2013, California ban on trans discrimination with insurance companies.
I mean, we have to say California because it was only in California that this was passed in 2013. But I mean, kudos to California. The rest of the states, y'all need to get it together.
Yo, that was less than 10 years ago. Like, let's just throw that out there. Like, less than 10 years ago.
Insurance did not cover transgender people.
No, I mean, the
like
trans
their
community,
surgery, their medicine, their testosterone, their hormones, anything. Like, none of that was covered under insurance. It was all out of pocket. You know how crazy expensive that stuff is?
Yeah. The trans community and the medical community, it seemed, have been at odds with one another. Like, I can't even imagine being a member of the trans community and then having anxiety and needing to go to the doctor. Like, that's
the fear of being, you know, misgendered or being discriminated against just being in the office, the doctor's office.
Yeah, and that's just the doctors. Like, that doesn't even cover insurance companies. Imagine talking to an insurance rep and see.
They're hard enough to deal with just in regular life. I can't imagine adding a whole extra level to that.
No.
Yeah, my heart goes out to y'all if you guys ever struggled with that in the insurance companies or just in the medical field, being in the transgender community. That's not okay.
Yeah, normally we ask for coming out stories at the end of our episodes, but if you have any medical stories of shit that you went through that, you know, just someone of normal cis body doesn't go through, I mean, please share them. I would love to hear them because to me it baffles me that it was in 2013 that we decided that we were going to ban discrimination. To me, discrimination should already be banned right in general.
Like we were talking about
all over, but
the 2010s, like we're way past all of this, you know, old times that we've been talking about. Like, we thought this was new. This is our lifetime. Things were supposed to be better, right?
Yeah.
Well, one state got it right, at least.
Yeah. Hey, Callie, I see you. You've always been an ally for us. In the LGBT,
for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, and then 2 years after that, guys, this is 2015.
And the last three facts here we have actually are from the Obama administration.
Yes.
Guys, and you know, he was
No, this was all Obama, yeah. Other than the 2003 fact, but 2009 this is all his administration.
Yeah, he was one of the presidents that, like, I know there's quite a few people in my community that were a little bit didn't necessarily stand by his views.
Oh yeah, me.
Or a little bit, you know, worried about him being in the presidency, but then I feel like he just kind of turned everything around for us. One of the biggest allies for our community to be in the White House, I think.
No, the first time, guys, his first round in office, I did not vote for him. I did not agree with his views on immigration, so that's where he drew the line for me. But after just a couple of years, he he wore me down, and he has so far been the president that I guess
you look back on the most and enjoy that time.
Yes, he did the most for me.
There you go.
Which I guess a lot of people are going to use that as ammo as to why he shouldn't be in office. But yeah, no, it was for us in the gay community, Obama.
Yeah, he was a key player in all this.
Not to mean to get political, but
So then in 2015, they passed that the military finally allows open LGBTQ members to serve.
Yes, huge, guys.
See, there's a little bit of hiccup there though, because you know how like we have our government, and then the military has their like own government and their own court system and everything. So it did take a little bit of time for that to trickle through the whole military. And I do have some friends in the military, and I have heard some different stories about discrimination here or there.
Oh, of course.
Still against members of our community. But, you know, per federal law, they can be allowed to serve for us.
Which is exciting, because there were hundreds, if not thousands, of members of the military community that got dishonorably discharged just because of the person that they loved.
Just because of their personal life.
Like,
That's
and these
crazy to me.
You know,
these are people who are willing to put their lives on the line to
Exactly.
fight for us, and you're going to tell them no just because of who they go home to?
Oh, yeah, and some of them are officers. Some of them are the leaders in the military, and yet...
Yeah, and their personal life has nothing to do with their professional career.
No.
And you're still treating it like that. That's... so many different feelings about that one.
Oh, very much so. And then, same year, 2015, federal law legalized marriage equality.
Woo!
No, you were alive for that, dude.
Yes.
How did that treat you? Where were you? What happened?
So I was still, 2015, I probably was a sophomore in high school, still very much so in the closet, like to myself included. And I couldn't figure out why I was so happy. Like just like I felt lighter. You know, my stomach didn't have like knots so much anymore. It was just kind of like, why do I feel so upbeat and happy now that I heard this news?
Lindsay thought she was
Fast
an ally.
forward, I just thought, support, yes, I got you, buddy. Like I'm here for it. You go do you. That's what it was. I just thought I was, an ally for them. But no, I'm heavily enrooted in this community for sure.
Good shit. Yeah. So I mean, that was big. That was a big day, guys. 2015. I remember.
Were you in a relationship when that news came out?
Yeah, but it was a new relationship, so it was
So nothing like oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, no. If it had been a couple years before that, though, it would have been a bad thing for me, because then she would probably have been like, so yeah.
So where's the ring at?
I'm just so. I'm sure there are a couple of gay couples that were using, the gay marriage thing as an out, and then as soon as gay marriage got passed, they were like, oh shit.
Well. That escape plan went out the window.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a big deal. Marriage equality. Most of you guys who are watching this, I imagine that you were there, you were alive, you saw how big it was. So it's been a big deal, and it's only been 7 years. Jesus,
7 years. Yeah, y'all comment down below. What were y'all doing? Where were y'all at? And what did y'all think when that news was passed?
Yeah,
that we are allowed to get married to whoever we want.
Yeah, I know. So out of all of the equal rights we want, I love how marriage was was one of the first things that came about it.
Yeah,
marriage and military.
The two M's.
Yeah, and then later on in 2015, because all of this was happening,
and because we had our ally in the office,
we did. Obama was credited with having the very first presidential address where he said the words gay, bisexual, lesbian, and transgender.
To the country. He was talking to the country and says these words.
Yeah. He actually noticed us, I guess. So.
Yeah. Not only noticed us, but like called us out by names too. Yeah. That's really awesome. Like before that, nothing like political wise has it been like addressed in that kind of a way. Like,
no, people used to like shove it under the rug.
Don't say anything. Like, don't say gay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's funny how we consider that such like a big monumental moment, but I mean, if you really think about it, all he did was just speak those words to him, and he was just probably, someone wrote his speech, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, it's great,
it's good."
Yeah. But if he knew the lives that were changed just because the president of the United States, of our free world, of one of the greatest countries in the world, said those words. I mean, that's powerful.
I hope he knows that.
Oh, I'm sure he
that
does.
meant a lot to us.
He's been one of the biggest LGBT. Again, he changed. I love Obama.
He changed your mind.
He changed my mind. Yeah. It was great.
Can't say that Trump did the same for me though.
Let's not get into
I just wanted to make Denise mad. I just wanted to make you mad real quick.
We could. That's a separate podcast.
We could do a whole hour and a half show just on that.
Oh, so good.
All right, guys. Well, now we're gonna jump into our favorite part of the episode, which is the coming out stories.
Yes.
And since we did the history episode this week, we decided to go ahead and highlight some of the celebrities in our lives. So we're gonna do 2 stories each, 2 from me, 2 from Denise, of celebrities that we kind of followed growing up, maybe while we were in the closet, getting older, and kind of like looked to them as inspiration, or just felt some type of way about watching them on the TV or something.
Damn right.
So the first one for me was Ruby Rose. This girl, I don't know what she did to me, but from the second I saw her on, I think it was Instagram was the first time I ran into her, YouTube or something, and I just was like, oh, I want to be like her.
We know what she did to Lindsay.
Like right off the bat, right? I was like, that's it right there. I was like, I need the haircut. I need the outfit. I need the confidence. I need all of that.
Was her transition the first video you watched?
Yeah, of hers. Yeah,
Okay.
Her coming out transition story.
Love it. Yes.
Oh my gosh, I watched it like 6 times in a row.
If you haven't seen it, I encourage you right now to Google Ruby Rose transition, and you'll see the video of her changing from femme to masculine.
To masculine, right? Very much so.
And it is a video.
Kind of like she's more dyke than you in that video.
No, she's sexy as fuck though. Ooh, either way, it doesn't matter, boy or girl. It's beautiful.
Holy cow, yeah. Okay, so we just get little snippets of these coming out stories. We'll post a link down below that we got them from. These celebrities, they don't necessarily post their like whole coming out story just on the internet for everybody to see. So it's going to be kind of snippets from different interviews. So this one here is goes from Orange is the New Black actress coming out as gay to her mom wasn't exactly the surprise of a lifetime. She knew when I was 6, apparently, she told Willie Guest on Today. I didn't know anyone else that was gay or lesbian, so I didn't really know how to word it. So I was just like, I think I should let you know that when I eventually get a boyfriend, there'll be a girl. And she just said, I know.
Hey, that's a good
That was
mom
it.
right there,
She didn't know the words for it, but like when I get a boyfriend, it's not going to be a boy, it's going to be a girl.
Love it.
So
Love
that's a pretty neat coming out story.
I don't know the
there.
word for it, Mom, but I'm gay.
But I'm gay. Yeah.
All right, and then since we did reference Ellen, I had to do Ellen because Ellen was a big deal for me. I watched the Ellen DeGeneres show when I was younger. She came on after school, so it was like early after school, so it was basically like right as 3 hit. Like we got at 3:20, but it was an hour long, so I got to catch the end of her show just about every day.
End is the best part. They save all the stuff for the people who get home a little bit later.
I didn't even notice it then, but I mean, I think about it now, and it's just crazy how she was a butch woman.
Yeah,
she's a butch woman who had her own TV show
in the
that's
90s.
Crazy. Yeah, crazy. And this is an article that's writing this, so I'll link it down below as always. So she may have come out to the world on Ellen's show, The Ellen Show's groundbreaking The Puppy episode in 1997.
She came out on a puppy episode.
That's the name of the episode.
That's amazing.
But the talk show host first had a candid conversation with her mom, Betty, about her sexuality back in the summer of 1978 when the star was only 20 years old.
Wow. Okay.
So Ellen goes, we were walking along the beach and with our pants rolled up and barefoot, and the water was coming in. DeGeneres said during a mother-daughter interview on 2020, I said, I'm in love. And she says, that's great. And I said, it's with a woman. And she said, speaking about the mother, or Ellen said, I'm gay, and started to cry. Her mother recalled, maybe I cried with her. Yeah. So Ellen basically said that I'm in love with a woman, and then she started to cry because she said she was gay, and then her mother may have cried with her too, which I could see because moms are they don't want their
emotional
they don't want their daughter to go through any hatred or anything like that.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
That's awesome. Look at all these famous people. They have families too. They're going to come out to those a little bit closer to them before the whole world. I see it. All right. So another one for me is Demi Lovato. And this one is actually a coming out story from when I believe they were coming out as lesbians. So I know that they have changed their status since then.
Yes.
But I'm going to read their lesbian coming out story. And I will do my best to switch around the pronouns in here as I am reading it. All right. Goes like this. It was actually very emotional, but really beautiful, Lovato said on the Radio Andy Sirius XM show in January 2020. After everything was done, I was like shaking. She says like a lot. After everything was done, I was like shaking and crying, and I just felt overwhelmed. But I have such incredible parents, and they were so supportive. My dad was like, yeah, obviously, they continued. And I was like, oh, okay, Dad. My mom was the one that I was super nervous about. She was just like, I want you to be happy, Lovato shared. It was so beautiful and amazing. And like I said, I'm so grateful.
Hey, all right.
Very, very loving parents coming from Demi Lovato.
No, that's awesome. Badass.
Yeah, I grew up watching them on Disney Channel.
Oh, really?
And they had the Camp Rock movies. Nope, not for you. But yeah, I had dances.
Oh, shit.
I was one of those kids.
Mom, if you have videos, I need to see them.
Ignore her. Mom, we don't need no videos.
I need those.
We don't need no videos.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, Demi Lovato is big in a lot of, especially, I would say, your generation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a big icon.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, so my last one, and it's because we referenced it in the beginning of this episode, I was originally going to do someone else, but then Leslie Jordan died, and I had to look him up. So, yeah, this one is
get a coming out story.
Yes, and this one actually I had to transcribe kind of from Leslie's Instagram, I think, is where they posted it. But yeah, so he was talking about his mother, so this is him. So I'm just going to say it like he said it. So, quote, I've been thinking about my mother. I love her so much. I'm going to get to see her in a few weeks, and just all the sacrifices she gave for my twin sisters and I when we were young. It was all about us. You have to almost be an adult looking back to realize that. When I was about 12, I told her. I confided in her. She was my best friend. I told her I thought I was gay. I didn't know that word. I think I used queer, or I just knew that the boys at school had been teasing me a bit. And she thought on it, and I thought she might pull her Bible out. I wasn't sure. And she said, you know, son, I think that you probably just need to lead a quiet life. Otherwise, you'll be subject to ridicule, and I could not bear that. And so Leslie's quoted, so here I am living a quiet life, mama. And he was laughing during it.
You said, I'm going to read it like him, and
I
then
tried.
proceed to read it like him.
I'm glad you noticed that.
I was sitting here trying not to laugh. I was like, keep it together.
Yes. I could have really drawn out that South Carolina accent.
There was a couple of ones that I was like, wow, she really hit it there. I was like, Denise, born and raised in Texas. Okay. She can hit them accents.
Sometimes when I'm drunk.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
All right, guys. So that pretty much sums up our episode. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think we got a couple of laughs in this episode.
Yes, yeah.
We hope we didn't make this history lesson too boring for you guys. If y'all have any other quick little facts and dates y'all want to throw down in the comment section, please do. Like I said, we actually really enjoyed doing the research for this. Just watched a couple of videos, read a couple of articles, and I learned so much.
Same. Yeah.
So highly suggest y'all that y'all go out and continue your research on this wonderful subject for our history.
Yes, guys. So if you found any value in our episode, if you want to see more of it, definitely do us a really good solid and hit that like button.
Please.
Press that subscribe bell. It really helps out our channel.
Yeah. Subscribe to our channel, and we get a little choppy with our updates. So y'all hit that little bell there, and it will give you a chime every time we post a new video.
Damn right. So with that being said, guys, happy LGBT History Month.
Woo! Or a couple days after LGBT History Month, but still same thing.
Same thing. And go vote.
Go vote.
It is election season. Go vote, please. So yeah, that being said, I am Denise.
I'm Lindsay. We're Born This Gay, and we'll see you guys next time.
Vote.